So I read a quote where you said you were probably at one time the best single-table satellite player in the world.
I think I probably was.
But you weren't playing in tournaments.
No.
Why not?
I didn't have any money. You know, it was tough. Expenses were big, and I had a very, very small bankroll. And I was going around, and I would just, all day long, every day, I would just play single-table satellites. And, you know, and lots of times you'd make little deals. And these, remember, back then it's not like they are now where you're winning like $10,000 in them. You'd be playing satellites for like a $500 tournament, you know, where everybody put up like 60 or 80 bucks or whatever. And so, you know, I'd win these things, and I'd sell the chips and try to make, just try to make a few hundred a day.
You should be really good at sitting goes online then, huh?
I probably should be, but I'm not. Online's a little different. Online is, I don't know. I'm really not good, but online's different. You don't get the same feel and everything going on. But yeah, I did that for probably about 3 or 4 years.
Well, one of the reasons you started playing tournaments was because of your friendship with Eric Lindgren, right? How'd that all come about?
Well, Eric did well on the internet and was doing and had some money together, and it was in 2004. I wasn't even going to come out to the World Series. My mother had cancer that year and had a big surgery in March of 2004. So she really was a bit under the weather and whatnot. So I was looking after her a bit. And then as we were getting closer, we were getting nearing to May, and I hadn't come out yet. And my mother started doing better, so I was talking to Eric, and he's like, "Well, I'll put you in the main event." If you want to play it. I'm like, well, how can I turn that down? You know, this is an opportunity. So he put me in on a 25% free roll. So that meant this, whatever I cashed for, I'd get 25, he'd get 75. And I ended up coming, I think, around 50th or something like that, or in the high 40s or low 50s. And I cashed for 45,000. And so it was exciting as hell because I played like 5 days in the World Series, and it was great, and it was a good run. And so as soon as we did that, I said, "Oh, Eric, they're doing this 10K event at the Plaza coming up, so can we just take 10,000 of the profits and I'll play that?" And he's like, "Sure, you can." So I took 10,000 out and I went and played championship poker at the Plaza, where 69 pros all went and played this thing. So there's 68 of them could play, and then there was me. And I played that, and things went well. And next thing you know, I'm at the final table with the chip lead. And the final table was Murderer's Row. It had Freddie Deeb, Daniel Negreanu, Dan Alspach, Lane Flack, Ted Forrest, and myself. And it's like, wow, I fit in here. But it was funny because I didn't think I was, and looking back, I was, because I can remember this. I can remember at one hand specifically where I had a pair of fives, and I was playing against Daniel, and I ended up making a weak bet on the turn, and he raised me, and I really knew my hand was good. I really thought my hand was good, and I had enough chips that he would have to fold if I moved in on him. And we were on television, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I ended up mucking the hand. I later found out that I was right, and I didn't trust my instinct, and I thought, that's just not going to happen again. And so I've worked at not being really intimidated by that sort of stuff anymore. But I ended up busting out in fifth, and so I made like 30,000, which wasn't very much. It was a little disappointing because I think it was like 300 for first. And so Eric and I split that, and as we were at the thing, Eric at the cage cashing out, Eric's like, "Well, if you want to try this, I'll commit to backing you for a year." And I'm like, "Perfect."
Great.
So, I was just starting to see a girl at the time in Vegas, so I went home and kind of got my stuff together and moved out to Vegas in July of that year, and started playing the circuit, and Eric was backing me.
Well, this is a funny story about Eric. You met Eric at Casino San Pablo.
Correct.
When we interviewed him for a Poker Mind show before, I don't know if you watched it, he said he couldn't understand why Bill Edler was friends with you when he first met you. Was that feeling mutual?
No.
Maybe he was just joking with us.
Eric was a good guy. I don't know. I sometimes, if you get me at the wrong time, I'm a little bit abrasive, and sometimes I have to grow on you a little bit, I think. So I can understand that. That's possible. But Bill and I were friends first, and I went out to visit Bill and met Eric and whatnot in San Pablo. And yeah, I don't know. I think we got along fair. Like off the start, we just sort of weren't weren't close to begin with. And then that sort of developed as we went on.
All right, in 2006, you were named WPT Season 5 Player of the Year.
Season 4.
Was it 4? Season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that rank among your accomplishments?
That's really high.
Yeah.
That's really high. I mean, that meant you did it for a whole year. You know, it's hard to call it a fluke if you did it for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really great. And you know, the people I followed. You know, I followed Howard Lederer, Daniel Negreanu, and Eric Link. Well, not in that order, but you know, 3 pretty accomplished poker players that I all of a sudden I was in this club with, and that was pretty special. I liked it.
The World Series of Poker, though, you haven't won a bracelet yet.
No.
How much does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me that much. I mean, I'd like to have a bracelet. I mean, I would have liked to. I probably should have won the pot limit hold'em that I made the final table and came second in. Mm-hmm. Not taking anything away from Mike Spiegel. You know, he played very well, but you know, I think I should have won that. But I don't know. It'll come. It'll come if it's supposed to be. And I mean, all you can do is go out and try your hardest, and if it comes, it comes, and if it doesn't, then.
Does it?
If it doesn't come, I don't think people are gonna jump up and down and say, oh, well, you know, you were never a great poker player because you didn't win a bracelet. You know, but, you know, it's just, you know. But no, I'm okay.
Well, you had a pretty tough World Series in terms of results last year, and you admitted that some of it had to do with your drinking.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just a train wreck for this World Series.
Right. Well, and this year you entered into the no drinking prop bet.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think it's affected you personally, professionally?
I mean, I think that like drinking is part of my lifestyle, and it's something I do, and I think that I've been able to still be very functional and accomplish a lot with drinking. However, in the World Series this year, it got to be to the point where I let it affect my life, and where I did ridiculous things like drink all night and show up blasted and whatever. I mean, I was just an idiot. Mm-hmm. Making the prop bet and stopping drinking, it didn't make me play better because I'm not drinking. What it did is it made me have to deal with what was making me get wasted all the time. So, you know, it made me face my problems and deal with my problems instead of hiding behind a bottle of Bacardi, I guess. And so probably that's helped a lot.
So when it's over, when is it over? Soon, right?
Yeah, November 6th.
Yeah. Well, how's it going to be after that? You going to go back to drinking the way you were, or is it going to be kind of moderation now?
I mean, my intention is probably to start drinking again. Hopefully, I won't go back. If I go back to what I did in the World Series, I think then it's definitely an issue, and I'll have to quit altogether. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to drink a little bit less.
No Bacardi. You're going to do beer.
I don't like beer, so I have to teach myself how to like beer. But it certainly won't be no Bacardi. I'll tell you that much.
All right, let's lighten up a little bit. The circuit, Poker Wire Radio, Poker Road Radio. Why do you think they've all worked?
Whew. Well, we've been pretty lucky in having talented people be our hosts. That's probably the biggest reason. I mean, you know, we've had exceptional hosts from the start to the finish that worked hard and were very, very talented. So that's probably the number one reason. I think Joe and I have decent chemistry with each other.
You have great chemistry.
So I think that goes over well, and I think people sort of got to liking Joe and I sort of clashing on the air and whatnot, and that was kind of good. But I think first and foremost that the reason for the success of the show has been the people that have hosted it. I mean, Joe and I aren't particularly talented in radio, and we don't have that much to offer. But I mean, like I still say that Scott Huff's like the most talented guy I've ever worked with, and you know, he was fantastic, and you know, Joe Stapleton followed his footsteps and did great. And most people can't follow a great host and do well, and so Joe just jumped in there and did it, and he was fantastic. Even Bart in his own way. I mean, Bart and I didn't really have the same relationship as we had with